Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do the May 30th just for today in a meditation. Hope you're doing well today. The title of the meditation for today is Loneliness versus Being Alone. Sharing with others keeps us from feeling isolated and alone. That comes from basic text, page 85. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Being lonely is a state of heart, an emptiness that makes us feel sad and sometimes hopeless. Loneliness is not always alleviated when we enter into relationships or surround ourselves with others. Some of us are lonely, even in a room full of people. Many of us came to Narcotics Anonymous out of the desperate loneliness of our addiction. After coming to meetings, we begin to make new friends, and often our feelings of loneliness ease. But many of us must contend with loneliness throughout our recovery. What is the cure for loneliness? The best cure is to begin a relationship with a higher power that can help fill the emptiness of our heart. We find that when we have a belief in a higher power, we never have to feel lonely. We can be alone more comfortably when we have a conscious contact with the God of our understanding. We often find deep fulfillment in our interactions with others as we progress in our recovery. Yet we also find that the closer we draw to our higher power, the less we need to surround ourselves with others. We begin to find a spirit within us that is our constant companion as we continue to explore and deepen our connection with a power greater than ourselves. We realize we are spiritually connected with something bigger than we are. Just for today, I will take comfort in my conscious contact with a higher power. I am never alone. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for today. Please and thank you. Which one are you? Are you a person that you have this state of being or a state of your heart and emptiness that makes you feel sad and sometimes hopeless, where you feel lonely? Are you that type of person where you can go to a NA convention and not even mentally engaged? You don't feel a part of. You're there because you've always been there, but you don't feel a part of. People hug you, people greet you, and you go through the ropes. But when it comes to your state of your heart, comes to the state of your heart, you don't feel connected at all. You feel a sadness. However, you're not as hopeless as maybe this sounds because you continue to hold on in a hope that one day your spirit, right, your heart will awaken to feeling energetic, engaged, and a part of the fellowship of recovery, right? Because see, I can participate in my recovery, right? I can participate in my recovery. I can engage individuals and still have this state of the heart that is lonely. I've been there, right? Or are you a person that um, you have loneliness, right? Which is that you're really not necessarily in your heart feeling, lonely, right? You feel alone, right? When I'm talking about loneliness, I'm not really talking about being alone. I'm talking about that individual that they want to engage, but they're not physically around other people, right? You can be at home alone and not lonely. Is that making sense? I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, but it seems like it's going to be a struggle, right? You can be at home alone and not lonely, or you can be in a room full of people and feel loneliness. Loneliness is much more dangerous. There's a lot of people that have bailed out on life because of this spirit of loneliness. You ever heard this saying, an addict alone is in bad company? So, what people that experience loneliness, this state of the heart, right, of loneliness, what people that experience loneliness do is oftentimes they make sure, if they're in recovery, they'll make sure that they're not alone. They're not making sure that they're not alone because of, wanting to have fun and have a good time. They're generally people that have loneliness, when they seek out the company of others. I'm gonna put this as simply as I can. People that experience loneliness, when they seek out the company of others, trying to make sure that they're not alone, they're trying to buy themselves some time from where loneliness can actually take them. I wanted to pause there because that is a statement that probably rings true with more of us than we actually realize. I can go to a convention. When I say I'm just talking in general, right? I personally can go to a convention, and because I have a tendency to experience loneliness, right? I can go to a convention and do all of the things that convention goers do because I just don't want to be alone with this state of loneliness. I know that that is the best thing for me, is to get out of that, right? In hopes that some miracle of connectedness will take place. That's the majority of us. And we got it honest. I don't know exactly where it came from, but it seems to run as a part of the disease of addiction. Having the disease of addiction also seems to be something that thrives with people that are in the state of loneliness and alone. But here's the thing, and I'm going to leave it with this, is that the majority of us claim to have a God of our own understanding. And a lot of the spirit of loneliness that we deal with is a deeply internal state of being where we're not as connected to our source as we say we are. Now, if you're a person that is wired towards being extroverted and you're dealing with loneliness, you will more than likely run to the company of others in an attempt to leave the loneliness because you're extroverted. That's where you draw your energy. The problem, the thing that you have to be careful with is if you are extroverted. Now, extroverted is not that you're outgoing, friendly, and all of that, social, right? It's where you draw your energy from. If you're extroverted, and that's how you drive your energy, draw your energy, you have to be careful because you will run into the company of others rather into the presence of your higher power again and again and again, because that is what you've learned can pick you up, right? You're indeed a social butterfly, but that's where you draw your energy from. And a lot of times you'll confuse events and doing things, going to parties and engaging with other people, right? You'll confuse that with, I'm happy. I'm good. I'll pray tomorrow. I'll work on me tomorrow. I got this place to be at. I got this thing to do. That's if you're extroverted. Sometimes you'll just step right over prayer and meditation because you've learned in your mind that you draw your energy from social settings. Now, if you're introverted, you draw your energy from within, quietness, hobbies. You don't really necessarily even care if you're engaged with other human beings or not. You might do it because you have to work, or you have a family, but like myself, I'm fine. I can go days and days and days without any engagement with another human being. And I will never miss that because I love to study. Uh, I love art. I love to create things. I love to exercise. There's so many things that I love to do that I don't need others to be able to do those things. And that's where I get my energy. Now, I'm great out there performing and socializing, but I will have like a meltdown afterwards because when that's all said and done, it's pulled so much energy out of me. And now I have to come back to what I'm comfortable with, what I know, and fix that. Generally speaking, those people don't have too much of an issue with prayer and meditation and drawing from their relationship with the God they're understanding. What they do have a problem with is being functional. I mean, they can have a lot of gifts, a lot of talents, but generally speaking, they're so into that quiet time that they can be deeply spiritual, but of no earthly value. They don't carry the message, they don't do anything but pray and meditate and do this life journey pretty much alone. And they have a tendency to have a lot of loneliness. Right? And so I want you thinking about that. What is your conscious contact with your higher power like? Are you a person that is lonely, or are you a person that is alone? Are you extroverted, or are you introverted? And in whichever you are, do you still have conscious contact with the God of your understanding, or have you subverted it and replaced it with your natural instinct of introversion or extroversion? I want you thinking about that because I think it's important and has a lot to do with how well we recover and how quickly we proceed from these sad, downridden individuals to people full of life. And that's what I want for you. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you have a beautiful day on purpose.